Kat here. So today I'm doing another Wags and Tags video with my dogs, and they have 3 choices for a tag video for me to do. I'll put treats in front of each option, and whichever one they choose first I will talk about. So option number 1, not safe for work. Option number 2, 7 deadly sins. And option number 3, reading rainbow. Let's see, okay, treats. 1 treat, 2 treats, 3 treats. Okay, so let's see. Jack! Okay. So, speed of light. And Freckles. She's shy. So, okay, he picked the not safe for work tag. So, I think the first person I saw this from was WoolfsWhistle, and I will leave her video link down below. Okay, so let's get into it. The last book you don't want your parents seeing you reading. So the only one that would be concerning is if they saw a manga page open, because then they could really quickly grasp what the situation is from the sexy scenes. So the one that I'm obsessed with, and that is Twittering Birds Never Fly by Yoneda Ko, because it's so amazing. It follows Yashiro and Domeki, and basically it is everything. They are amazing, and there are like a lot of sexy scenes, but not between them. So basically the whole thing is a suspension of sexual tension. I highly recommend it, and I will go ahead and put a picture here, although I'm not going to put like one of the inside spread ones because oh, it's too much for too much. Okay, so number 2, you're home alone and it's dark outside. What makes matters worse? There's one book that immediately jumps to mind that I would never read if I was home alone, and it's Exquisite Corpse by Poppy Z. Bright. So I'm not a big horror reader at all. I was backpacking through the Philippines, and you know how when you're backpacking, like you carry one book and then when you stay at a hostel you switch it with another book? So there was only like 3 options, and 2 of them were in German. So I just picked the only English option, and it was Exquisite Corpse by Poppy Z. Bright. I could not put the book down, but it is horror, macabre. If you've never read Poppy Z. Bright, her writing is exceptionally erotic, exceptionally sensual. However, that specific book also deals with cannibalism. I remember we were on the train going from Manila down to the island we were diving on, and I was trying to read it, and I was sitting in the train bunk, and I was reading it, and then I would just be like, oh my god, no. And then my boyfriend's like, are you okay? You don't have to read it. And I'm like, no, but I do, because this is the story. But then I'd like read 5 more and I'm like, oh my god, no, I can't, oh my god, oh god. I did read all the way to the end, although I almost DNF'd it so many times. But there's just something about the writing that's so electric that I didn't want to, but I want to. Like, I didn't want to, but I have to know how it ends. And anyway, if I was in a dark house, that would be utterly terrifying. Hide your wife, hide your kids. There's a cannibal on the loose. Oh my god. Okay, number 3, a book that you read because of the controversy. So actually, I went to get A Million Little Pieces by James Frey, and when I went to check out, the person who owns the bookstore was actually like, oh, did you hear about this asshole? It's all made up. Oprah revoked her award that she gave him because he largely made all of it up. If any, like, I didn't want to get down on the bookseller, but I was like, if anything, that makes it more interesting to me, because if it was so good that his imagining of it fooled so many people, then keen to read something that is so well written that it would convince all these people that it's amazing. And then having read it, I understand why it would be a problem if you are in that same situation. You're using the book as a source of guidance, then yes, I can see how it would be super problematic if it's not real and if he made it up. Yeah, so that's the only one I can think of. Number 4, what is the most awful sex scene you've ever read? Okay, well, let me tell you, there are about a zillion. I can usually bear it if things are said that are disgusting descriptors or wrong things, like that just physically with bodies can't happen. But I'll probably still read anyway if the story's really good. But the things that will make me DNF a book in a sex scene is if there's cheating. I don't know why, but cheating is a major trigger for me. I hate it absolutely so much. I will probably, if one of the main leads in a pair, in a ship in a book, is cheating, I will probably DNF the book. I abhor it more than anything. Oh, okay, and the other thing that would put me off DNF a book for a sex scene would be if it is a BDSM sex scene. I'm totally fine with reading those, and I find that culture really interesting. However, there's a way to write it and I have read some awesome books that deal with it in a loving way in between two consensual partners, and that it is a safe scene that they are building. But when people who haven't properly researched it or have never experienced it or don't care to portray it in an accurate, responsible light, write a BDSM scene, then it makes me really mad, because a lot of people could get dangerous ideas. I just think it's irresponsible as a writer. So if you're giving them false information, then I think it could be a dangerous thing. What book made you question the author's sanity? Okay, so the first one that came to mind was As Meat Loves Salt by Mariah McCann. So I read this because my friend really wanted me to read it with her so we could fangirl about the characters together. Toward the end, I just read through the end, and then I was like, what were you thinking? Why would you write that? Are you freaking kidding me? Come on! And I wrote my friend this angry text message. Can't believe you made me read that. That's so awful. Like, how could that happen? I can't believe she did that. What was she thinking? Ah! Yes, but I was definitely like, Mariah McCann, I wish I could have a chat with you and ask you why you did this to me. Why did you do this? Anyway, next. Number 6. Did not finish because content was too much. The 2 that I DNF'd because it was just too much happened in high school. And one is I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings by Maya Angelou. And you might be really surprised, but I just remember reading the scene where it first talks about abuse by a family member. I cried, I shut the book, and then I never opened it again. And the other one, I think that same year, was The Jungle by Upton Sinclair. The setting was so sad already, like I couldn't take anything else. So I think I remember there was a newsboy and he walked into the meat packing plant. Somebody goes to warm his ears, which are red, and they're warming his ears and the ears just fall off. And I just remember wanting to vomit. So then I DNF'd it. So I would say those are the 2 strongest examples for me. I really just don't feel inclined to pick them up again. 7. Which fictional character do you have the most not safe for work thoughts about? Okay, so these are 2 pairs, and no one will be that surprised, but it's definitely the trilogy Captive Prince by C.S. Pacat, and the 2 in that series are Damon and Laurent. Definitely I'm Team Laurent. There's something about him, it just drives me crazy. But I love them together more than anything, so I wouldn't choose one. The fantasies aren't about me and them, the fantasies are more about them and them together. So then going off of that, would be the pair from the manga Twittering Birds Never Fly by Yoneda Ku. They are Yashiro and Domeki. The story is radically different, first off, so don't think that the story is the same at all. However, the characters themselves, their attitudes and what makes them them, are kind of similar. So if you are aware of Captive Prince, then kind of the stoic, strong Damon is very much like Domeki, and the cold, calculating, cool Laurent is very much like Yashiro. So if you are interested, if you like either one of those and you've never heard of the other one, then please, dozo, go for it. Number 8, the most sexy cover. So the most sexy cover is probably Twittering Birds Never Fly, and I'm not sure if it's because, I'll put it here, I'm not sure if it's because it's just absolutely so sexy. I don't know if people would think it's that sexy if they look at it, but once you read the story and then you look at the cover, like, ooh, oh man, oh man. I bought the books and I don't speak that level of Japanese. It's a really high level, not to mention all the sexual content. So I just bought it for the pictures, man. Like, I just need the illustrations in my life. So wait, I'm gonna go get them. I will be right back. Okay, so let me share these with you. Number 1, I think, is my all-time favorite, so nice. And if you slowly turn it over, so he's on the ground and his face is on Domeki's foot. Yeah, maybe if you saw this, you wouldn't think it's super sexual. Maybe like a little sexual, but yeah, oh my gosh. And then number 2 is not sexual at all. It's just a city scene. And then obviously number 3 is kind of like, okay, yeah, number 3. So yeah, I'd say those are the ones that obviously if someone looked at them, they'd be like, oh, well, okay. Yeah, so if you've read Captive Prince and you really love it, and you don't mind gay fiction, then I so highly recommend this series. And obviously, I have the Japanese ones because I'm in Japan. However, they do have English translated, I think, the first one. And if not, there's always the translated copies online. So yes, dozo. Number 9. Have you read erotica or romance, and what are your thoughts? The answer would be yes, absolutely. So obviously, I just showed you some. I think my mom has always read romance, Regency, Highland romances. I started reading those when I was younger, so she kind of got me into romance, and I think the erotica came later. The thing that got me into erotica is manga, because there are a lot of erotic mangas, so I think that it's quite easy to find one that would suit you. Sorry, it just really threw me off. My neighbor is like 90-year-old grandma, and she just came outside to water her flower beds. So it just put me like a little, she can't understand me, she doesn't speak English, but you know, so. Oh, and my thoughts on it is you should read whatever you like. Number 10, what fictional world would you not want to be transported into? Okay, so I mean, obviously all the ones that are like pre-industrial where there's no plumbing, there's like tuberculosis. Obviously I don't want to die a gutter wench. So yeah, none of those are appealing to me. However, if I had to choose one specifically, I would choose, of like the most recent books I just read, a world filled with zombies. I just read The Girl with All the Gifts, and I will have probably a review up sometime soon. But basically the world, there's been an outbreak and people become zombies, and that's terrifying. I'm a huge scaredy cat, and I really don't like gore or zombies or horror, so I think that would be like the most utterly terrifying thing for me of all time. So I don't want to go there, and I don't want to, oh my god. Japan does scary really well. They converted an old hospital into a haunted house, and you walk the entire hospital. It takes like 30 minutes. Like by the end, I was crying. I was definitely crying. They had exits every 10 feet, so you could bolt out if you wanted, but I didn't want to be the only one in my group to bolt out, so then I was just hiding behind my friends, and then when we got to the end, and they're like, oh, that was pretty good, they turn around and like, I'm quietly sobbing, and they're like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, and I was like, it was so scary. Japan, they do some terrifying stuff. Yeah, so anyway, that is the end of the Not Safe for Work. I hope you have a great day and happy reading. See you!